the European male wants to try to take his position as God on the earth, and it'll be hard to explain how are you God when these black people got all these structures on the earth and they've been living on the earth forever, and you are just a new Johnny come lately that is just a whitewashed version of them. We all know that. You're just missing your melanin, but you are an albino melanated man. We all know that. So you can't be the God over these people. So in order to try to reign supreme and be this phony imposter God, they got to hide all our history. Okay, and all our master craftsmanship all over the planet, they got to push it under the rug. So everybody run up in there. Please forgive me for all of my fornication. And I saw some crap. Please forgive me for that. Oh, there's some more stuff that I'm too ashamed to mention right now. Ooh, I'm gonna put a big ass roll of money into the plate right now. Ooh, I'm gonna go away and raise some more hell because I just paid God to look the other way. And Jesus is my God, so I know that I'm okay. Because I just asked Jesus to forgive me. He will, because I paid him to. And this is idiocy. Total freaking idiocy. And it has to stop. Because these youth folks that came here is tired of it. I was looking at the war zones, and I just couldn't understand how all the cities that had been bombed during the wartime, none of the real huge Catholic churches got destroyed. They all seem to be just doing well, hanging right in there. You know what I mean? So, the Moroccans went to Morocco. They helping Spaniards build their cities. Because remember, master builders come up all in Nile Valley way, all up and down the Nile Valley, building temples, going all over Africa, building temples. Temples everywhere, all over Africa, everywhere. If you ever got enough money where you could go to Africa yourself and see what National Geographic ain't showing you, you would be astonished. Remember, they didn't even want you to know that those outlets, the one that got at the Vatican, was built by the African people. So you never would have known all that stuff if it wasn't for YouTube coming on, dropping it on everybody. Okay, it says, so he said, and Saul, yet breathing out, threatening and slaughter against the disciples of the Lord, went unto the high priest and desired of him letters to Demascus, to the synagogues, that if he found any of this way, whether they were men or women, he might bring them bound unto Jerusalem. So this is Saul that's on his way to Demascus, and he wants to look for anybody that he see out there worshiping Jesus. He gonna handcuff their ass and bring them back to Jerusalem. Okay? So they could be tortured for worshiping Jesus. Now let's go on and see what happened. And as he journeyed, he came to Damascus, and suddenly there shined round him a light from heaven. Now listen what they said. Listen to what they said happened to Saul. Remember I told you guys that I was walking down the street one day and the sun started talking to me and told me my name was Asa Rasa Tepara Ma'at. Remember I was telling you about all that? Okay, listen to this. And Saul, yet breathing out, threatening and slaughter against the disciples of the Lord, went unto the high priest, and desired of him letters to Demascus, to the synagogues, that if he found any of this way, whether they were men or women, he might bring them bound into Jerusalem. That means that any person that went against the disciple of the Lord. Okay? And as he journeyed, he came near Damascus, and suddenly there shined round about him a light from heaven. So that means this light that shined around him from heaven had to be the sunlight. See, they failed to mention that it was probably the sun that was shining this light on him. You know, don't want you to think that maybe this was a black man having an encounter with the sunlight. Like Asar is a black man, and he says that the sun shines lights on him, and We believe that it does because we know that it does. So this description of this encounter right now might very well be the same type of encounter that we see Saul having with the sunlight right now. And maybe it wasn't these Jewish people named Saul and all that bullshit after all, because we see them always wearing hats. Well, Saul wears a hat too, but they wear big ass hats because they don't want the sun to get on their face and burn them up. Saul wear hats because he's just cool like that. Okay? Now listen what happened. And he journeyed, he came to Demascus, and suddenly there shined around him a light from heaven, and he fell to the earth, and heard a voice saying unto him, Saul, Saul, why persecutest thou me? And he said, Who art thou, Lord? And the Lord said, I am Jesus, whom thou persecuted. It is hard for thee to kick against the pricks. Now listen, they say that the devil will disguise itself as an angel of light. Well, here goes Jesus right now, disguising himself to be the sun. If any light came from the heavens and shined around Saul while he was walking on the road to Damascus, it would probably be the sun. Now, they want you to believe right now that for some reason Jesus came out of nowhere and he was a greater light than the sun that shined on Saul. So we can see who the devil is, disguising themselves as an angel of light. Because the biggest angel of light I know in this solar system is the sun, or these UFOs flying around that again is having interaction with us melanated people. You understand? And he, trembling and astonished, said, Lord, what wilt thou have me to do? And the Lord said unto him, Arise, and go into the city, and it shall be told thee what thou must do. And the man which journeyed with him stood speechless. Now listen what it said. And he, trembling and astonished, said, Lord, what wilt thou have me to do? Now this is when he's talking to Jesus. Now remember, Saul was on his way to Damascus to find people who was worshiping Jesus and kill him. But now all of a sudden, here Jesus talking to him as a light from the sky, not the sun, Jesus. And listen what happened to him. He said, and he fell to the earth and heard a voice saying unto him, Saul, Saul, why persecutest thou me? This is after he saw the light. And as he journeyed, he came to Damascus, and suddenly there shined round about him a light from heaven, the sunlight, not Jesus' light. And he fell to the earth and heard a voice saying unto him, Saul, Saul, why persecutest thou me? And he said, Who art thou, Lord? And the Lord said, I am Jesus, whom thou persecutest. It is hard for thee to kick against the pricks. What I mean is, if you're kicking anything that got pricks on it, you're going to be making the pricks stick to your feet. And he, trembling and astonished, said, Lord, what would thou have me to do? So in other words, this Jesus light that came at him was so bright that it made him right away convert to a believer. The Lord said unto him, Arise and go into the city, and it shall be told thee what thou must do. And the man which journeyed with him stood speechless, hearing a voice but seeing no man. So they could hear Jesus talking to him, or the sun. Like I told you guys, happened to me one day. The sun was talking to me, and I could hear it. And I'm sure anybody who was standing around saw me talking to the sun, and probably heard it talking to me also. And Saul arose from the earth, and when his eyes were opened, he saw no man, but they led him by the hand and brought him into Damascus. Okay? Listen what it said. And Saul arose from the earth, and when his eyes were opened, he saw no man, but they led him by the hand and brought him into Damascus. See, he opened his eyes, and he couldn't see. He was blind. But the universe had some men there, standing there. See all that sunlight manifestations come on? Just like that. They took him by the hand, and they led him into the city, led him into Damascus. And he was 3 days without sight. See? He was blind. And the sunlight manifested some men to lead his blind ass into Damascus anyway. See, this is encounters with black people. That was written on the walls all around Egypt. I'm telling you, I'm having the same experience with the sunlight right now. I've been telling you guys the same story, that the sun started talking to me I've been listening to the Son. It been regenerated my body. Gave me a whole new set of all kind of type of mission. Out of this world stuff been happening, going on. You know, stuff that I can't believe. So I got to be patient. I know it's hard on y'all. I know it's hard, but I have to push this stuff fast as I can. I have to be aggressive because every day people is dying. Every day little children is suffering. So I can't lollygag. People sit around and say I done bullshitted all this time because they don't see me out there working and hustling in the warehouse or no factory trying to get a paycheck. But they overlook all these videos I done made for the Son. So my true employer is the Son. And all you hoarders on this earth who can't understand the unique, hard dedication that I have toward your salvation, you are going to pay for that. That's why I was telling you, just buy the green light. The Son is going to rule this earth. And that means that when this green light move around and see after all this hard work that you're stubborn and disobedient and didn't comply, you're not going to be on this planet. All to it. Especially the ones who the Son is going to get it $10 or the $15 or the $20 or the $50. Who knows what it's going to be? I'm waiting on the Son to instruct me what to do. And right now it's saying you just keep putting these videos out there. I'll tell you what to do when it's time to do it. So I listen to the Son. I listen to my mother. I do. Alright? So now watch this. It say, and it brought him into Demascus. Okay? And he was 3 days without sight, and neither did eat nor drink. So what I mean, for 3 days, he couldn't do nothing. These men is gone now, and he's sitting around for 3 days, helpless. He can't get him no water. He can't get himself anything to eat. Okay? Now Ananias restores Paul's sight. Now his name had changed from Saul to Paul, which Paul happens to be the name my mother gave me, but I don't go by that name anymore because the Son, which is my overall, that which encompasses all, mother, told me my name is Asar Ra, Satepet Ra Ma'at, which is my name, but my name is also Asar Ra Harakde, because Harakde means Haru, which is, if you understand, the same encompassing attribute of Ma'at. Because if you have reached Haru, you better believe that you had to reach Ma'at first. So it's the same thing. Okay. And there was a certain disciple at Demascus named Ananias. And to him said the Lord in a vision, Ananias. And he said, Behold, I am here, Lord. And the Lord said unto him, Arise, and go into the street which is called Straight, and inquire in the house of Judas for one called Saul of Tarsus. For behold, he prayeth, and hath seen in a vision a man named Ananias coming in, and putting his hand on him, that he might receive his sight. Then Ananias answered, Lord, I have heard by many of this man how much evil he hath done to thy saints at Jerusalem. Now remember, Saul used to be a persecutor of the Christians. Alright, he used to gather them up and murder them. And the day that he had his encounter with Jesus, or the sunlight, he was on his way looking for more Christians in Damascus that he was going to arrest and bring back to Jerusalem. Okay? Then Ananias answered, Lord, I have heard by many of this man how much evil he hath done to thy saints at Jerusalem. And here he hath authority from the chief priest to bind all that call on thy name. So that means anybody who was worshiping Jesus, he had permission by the priest chief, by the chief priest, to arrest them and bring them back to Jerusalem. And that means he had an allotment of money that was given to him as the way. Anything he needed to commandeer to do his job, he had resources to do it. But the sunlight got a hold to him, or in this book case, Jesus changed his whole attitude, okay? But the Lord said unto him, Go thy way, for he is a chosen vessel unto me, to bear my name before the Gentiles and kings and the children of Israel.